Hi, I'm Amy Adams, and today we're going to go through a couple of things that we all need to know about styling our hair. So when we're round brushing, there's actually proper technique, which, we're not taught unless you're in hair school. So what I want to do today is I'm going to show you how to round brush long hair. We're going to talk about what brushes you want to use, and we're going to talk about how to start and where to finish. And I think it's going to be really fun, and I think it's going to be something that we all can learn from. Okay, so right now we're going to start with a leave-in conditioner, just to make sure all the snarls are out. This is Brooke, and Brooke also has extensions in. It's a little hard to see probably there, but so we're going to do a style on Brooke today with her extensions. So when you're starting to brush your hair, you want to start at the ends and not the top, because obviously if you start up here, you're going to make one giant knot in the middle. I like to hold on to the hair, just so that I'm not ripping out their hair or hurting them. Okay, so now we're going to start in sections. You want to make your sections manageable, meaning don't put too much hair in there. So the leave-in that we're using to get the detangling is actually Enjoy, and I really, really love their products. We're going to actually use a heat protectant. I always say if there's one client or one product that you want to buy, it's a heat protectant. Our tools are incredibly hot, 400 plus degrees, and you don't want to put your head in a 450 degree oven and expect your hair not to have some damage. So please use heat protectants. So what we're going to start doing is a rough dry. So you don't really necessarily need your round brush at this point. You're going to get it a little more dry, just so that you're not having to work through wet hair. This blow dryer is actually a Dyson dryer. They're pretty amazing. You can see how quickly that hair is drying. Okay, so when you start with your brush, you start at the base of the hair, not at the end. And then you pull it down and roll it up. Pull it down and then roll it back up. And if you're wondering what that cold shot button is for on your dryer, I'm about to show you. So you have to imagine that when hair is still warm, that it's processing. So if you let the hair fall when it's warm, it'll go a little limp and flat. But if you touch your cold shot button on your dryer and set it after the hair is all dry, that style will stay all day, and so will the volume that you put in. So I also like to kind of go in with the cold shot and just redirect the hair. So when it dries, you get a really nice volumized look. So again, start at the base and pull it down. This prevents tangling and knotting in your brush. I'm not sure if anyone's ever round brushed and gotten the brush stuck in the hair. That's why. So as you can see, I just slide it. I don't even turn it as I'm coming down. I'm going straight, and then I roll it. Straight, and then I roll it. This prevents tangling. Again, we're going to cold shot. I'm using a really large round brush here. This will separate the hair and get the hair to dry a little quicker because of the width. Also, it's a ceramic brush, meaning that ceramic will heat up and dry the hair a little quicker that way too. Okay, so again, we're going to go ahead and spray our heat protectant liberally on the hair. And as you can see, Brooke has extensions in, and these are a little more grown out. She's about ready to come back in and have them moved up, but they're in there and they look great. So we're going to blow dry this exactly the same as if we would blow dry hair without extensions. So rough dry first. Especially when you're blow drying extensions, you want to make sure that that is drier because there's a lot of hair gathered there. So it takes a minute longer. And you don't want to really tug on these very much either. So the drier the hair is before you start round brushing, the easier it is. Start here. So now that it's longer hair here, you're not going to pull it all the way down until it's all the way dry. And you're not going to roll the brush until the hair is dry. Ish. About probably 80%. And again, we're going to cold shot this. It does more than just give you volume and set your hair, it closes down the cuticle, giving you a lot more shine as well. So cold shot. The reason round brushing is a better option versus rough drying your hair is it smooths the cuticle as you're drying it. So it stays a little more polished and it looks a little more professional throughout the day. Also, it gives you a lot more volume. You can see how much easier my brush starts to slip the drier that her hair gets. And when it's super easy, you know it's dry. So you can see that it's tugging still, so it's still wet. So it's not the time to start rolling it up necessarily. You're going to start at that base, pull it straight down, start at that base, and continue that until you start to feel less tug. Now we're ready to start rolling. Again, it's about 80% dry. Okay, so now we're going to use a volumizer. I'm not sure there's very many people that don't need volumizing to their hair, except unless they have a very coarse texture. And today we're using Davaness, and I really enjoy this product a lot. So when you put it in your hand, you don't need a lot, and really you need to focus your volumizing at the crown only, because this is where it really counts. So I really get this top quarter of the head here. And just only at the root. You don't need it on your ends. Your ends don't need the volume, your root does. So we're still gonna part and take and leave this top mohawk part out. That'll be our last section. I don't know if you can see that, but I just twist it and then kind of make it in a circle and flip it up. Makes it easier. Again, use your heat protectant on every layer. And then if you're going to finish off with a curling iron or a flat iron, spray it again. You can't ever get too much. So we're gonna go with the smaller brush for the top because I really want more volume. And the difference between the brushes are gonna be that this is gonna give it a little more bend as well because it's a little smaller. Again, this is a ceramic brush and about probably 2.5, 3 inches. You can see that bend, that we're getting more, there's more bend than there is here at the end. That's because the brush is smaller. So if you want a big, sexy kind of bend or a curl, then go with a smaller round brush. It might take you a little longer, so account maybe for 5 extra minutes. So go with the smaller brush. You also want to make sure that the way you hold the hair from the head, as you can see I'm over directing that hair right now, is very important, especially when you're cold setting, because if you're drying it down here and then you cold set it, you're going to lose all that lift that you would get from here at this angle. So I would say 90 degrees or more. Cold shot. Also, another tip, Brooke has a little bit of a curl to her hair, and you never ever want to blow dry against the hair. So this direction, that roughs up that cuticle going in the opposite direction. So you want to kind of come with the hair and follow that cuticle as you're coming down. So again, not this way, this way. Give her a deep side part just because it's a fun look. It's not necessarily what she always goes with, but it's really cute and in style right now. So you want to make sure that you're pulling and bringing that hair in the direction that you want it to stay ultimately. So meaning I don't want to blow dry her this way because I want those bangs to come away from her face ultimately. So now I'm going to get it dry and I'm going to cold shot it just to really set this look for her. part. So I try to do a little softer by not getting it apart here and then blow drying one side and the other side. So meaning I come straight back with that and then I cold set that. And as you can see, he doesn't have a strong part all the way back. So our look is complete almost. We're gonna just polish it off with a little shine serum. Okay, and then today I'm gonna use Formula 18 shine serum. You don't need a lot of this product. It's very strong. So just a tiny bit, emulsify it in your hands, rub it together, in other words. Get it nice and rubbed in, and then start at the ends. Always start at the ends with any oil or silicone product because you don't want your roots to look greasy. And again, it's really the ends that dry out. Our hair on the top produces natural oil, so you don't need as much of that up there anyway. So we're just gonna smooth our hair and work this down. And that is that. You can see that polished look. You can see that bang coming across. It's really pretty volume. That's what we do in the salon. We always like to round brush first, just because it gives them a lot of lift. So, hope you enjoyed.